Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition to Educational Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about Google Consent V2 coming up, and it's got a due date in March, and everybody is starting to panic about it. And you really shouldn't have any need to panic. So, my name is Ron Sherbert. I'm with Marketing for Higher Education, and we teach universities and private high schools to increase their enrollments and reduce their marketing costs through measurement. And before we get started, we want to talk about the framework because you need to know what you're doing and have a plan to be a good measurer. And everybody starts off here marking the blind. Everybody wants to get here where they can predict the results. And the framework has 4 stages. The first one is plan. The second one is measure. The third one is forecast. And the last one is optimize. In the plan section, all you want to do is know the questions that you want answers to and what information you need to gather to get those answers and what action you will take once you have those answers. And the second part, the measure, is where you're going to measure your traffic, the who, the what, and the why. Who's sending you traffic? Why are they sending you traffic? And what type of traffic are they sending you? And the third part is the forecast, where you're going to measure against your predicted results. And the last one is optimize, where everybody wants to be. So let's jump right into it. There is a March 24th deadline, and people are starting to panic and worrying about this consent mode. And most universities have already implemented it. So basically, it's just you're not going to be able to, when it happens in March, people that advertise to the EU are not going to be able to have their data passed through audiences if they don't have the consent formed. So it's going to be automatically set to default and people will have to opt in. So it's really only for the EU and the GDPR. If you're in the United States, there has been no documentation by Google for the United States yet. So we'll see what happens when March comes along, but I don't expect much to happen in the United States. It's mostly for Europe. So now what it means is you can't use audience with Google Ads. So if you want to do some remarketing and you want to build some audiences, if you don't have the consent, people opting into it, you're not going to be able to do it. So there's 3 things you can do. Number 1 is nothing. Just leave it the way it is. Even if you're in the EU and you leave it the way it is, the only thing that will happen is you will not be able to do any remarketing or retargeting. None of that data will be passed on to Google Ads from GA4. The second thing you can do is you can turn off enable personal advertising. Now, this will turn it off completely, and it's basically the same thing. There's no personal information that's going to go through. So you're not going to get any information at all from personalized information at all from the people in Europe. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And the third one is you can adjust your consent banner, and we'll talk about that right after I show you how to turn everything off. We're going to jump over here to a GA4 property. And what you're going to do is in your data stream, I'm going to show you where your consent stuff is. You come over to your data stream, you click on it. And over here, you see consent settings. And you click on this, and it will open up to these. And if you were in Europe, you would have all these checked. This is a US account. But this right here says the ad personalization consent signal is active. So how you're going to turn that off is you're going to close out of here, and you are going to come down to your product links, and you're going to go to your Google Ad links. And all you're going to do is click on whatever account is for. So this is the one that's enabled. So we would click on this one. And then see this button right here? All you would do is toggle that off, and then no personal information is going to go through. And you could just leave it just like that, and you would be okay to advertise in Europe. And the third way is to have some consent banners. And basically, we're going to jump back over. So the third way is to adjust your consent banner for information you want to put. And this means that before, you can still do audiences, and all the information will go to Google except personalized information. So event information will still go over, like age, demographics will still go over because that's not personally identifiable, but anything else will not. Okay. And how you do this, you either have it all set up already where you just go adjusting your banner. And if you don't, you're going to have to sign up. The best way is to sign up with a Google partner. And the best way to do that is go to mhe.tips/consent partners. And that will take you over to this website right here. And this is the Google Partner Program for people with the consent mode to put the banners on your website. And if you scroll down, they have a list of them all here. And you can, pick any one you want. One of them that is a little less money if you're doing it for, yourself it's called Termly. And this one's a little cheaper than other ones, but universities normally ain't going to quibble over $20 because it's really not that much difference. They're about $20 to $40 a month. So let's do a recap. And remember that right now it's only for the European Union. And there's three things that you can do. One is do nothing and just leave it the way it is. And if you have any people from Europe onto your website, anything they do will just not go into Google Ads at all. That's personalized. The next one is to disable the personalization, and that'll keep any personalized information going to Google Ads. And the third one is to adjust your consent banner where event information and non-personalized information that will still help you do some modeling will go through. And if you don't have one, you'll have to set it up. And we showed you how to do that just by going to mhe.tips/consent partners. And that will wrap up this week's Educational Wednesday. And if you want to get this every Wednesday, just remember you can go to mhe.tips/subscribe, or you can go to marketingforhighereducation.com/subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for any topics that you want us to cover in the upcoming weeks, just let us know. And also, if you have any questions about your measurement and you think you need some help setting it up, or you have a question you're not sure, we're always willing to help people. So you can just reach out to us. And the best way to reach us is you can reach me at ron@marketingforhighereducation.com, and either myself or a team member will get back to you. And that's going to wrap up this Educational Wednesday. It was on Google Consent V2 with the March deadline for Europe. Don't worry about anything else if you're in the US. And like I said, most universities have already implemented this, so it's probably not going to cover many people. Okay? Have a great day, and we'll see you next Wednesday.